It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we discuss the rumble in the jungle caused by Cork City's fumble.
Are you saying boo or Boo-urns?
We talk about another defensive calamity from City. Wayne consigns himself to relegation. And of course, we head in Bang's bag. All of this and more, including another hefty enough mailbag on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast.
I was saying Boo-urns.
What? What was that?
I was just saying, I'm talking to myself.
All right. Welcome to season... I thought you sounded like you couldn't be fucking arsed with this.
That's
Season
exactly
5 episode... Oh, I know. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 18, Episode 278 of your multi-award winning podcast. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening in on. It does help us out. And why not join us on Patreon? This probably helps us out a little bit more. Patreon.com/TOTAP. We do sprinkle in the occasional exclusive content for Patreon. Check out our 2005 Reeling in the Years Part 1, which dropped over the weekend. So a huge thanks to Santa on that one. Obviously, before Christmas, you had a bit of spare time. We're also back on WhatsApp. We have a community now where we'll share the latest podcast news. You can text us your own thoughts, news, rumours, or interesting insights you may have to 089 247 9080. 089 247 9080. No dogging, please, lads. No dogging, please.
Are we back to this again now, Dan?
We're above all that now. What do you mean?
We're back to this phone number getting all these dodgy, weird messages that we can't play.
Potentially.
Hopefully.
Oh, there's some gems in there, like the Ronaldo one, to be fair. But it was a bit of crack.
We've revitalised a couple of our old social channels and presences.
Yeah, but look,
we're back on WhatsApp and we don't post on threads.
Declan Carey,
we're
a new
more
energy.
active now on Facebook.
Well, wait till the pod wears it out anyway.
We have
in a few
to be
months
clear here. If people are going to send us videos from woods at night with cars parked around and different activities and different things going on, we're going to have to pull it again, you know? So
pull what?
Just be careful.
We don't want anyone's phone to be confiscated under a criminal investigation. Like, basically, that's the legal line, really, Dick, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what okay, we'll go with that.
Here, you were saying I couldn't get it up before the pod started, but anyway. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my other three amigos. It's Wayne Mullins, Declan McCormack, and our ARC, Declan Carey. Lads, where are we all? Is anyone?
RC?
Do you know what, Dan?
But I feel like the ARC
today,
it's boiling your piss, so I'm just going to continue with it anyway, to be honest.
Maybe I like ARC.
The ARC, like, I mean, there's a bit of a thing to it, like. I don't know, it has a nice ring to it, I think. But anyway, we're
I had Cork won yesterday.
That was a positive, yeah. Into the Munster final, Limerick away it.
Panic stations, but look, anyway, we drive it on. People are getting sick of our GA talk and wrestling talk. I think people are giving up on the wrestling questions even at this stage, so I don't want to jinx it. But it is time for Academy Watch, and it has not caught Deacy by surprise. There was no games, so just hit the button again there, will you?
Boring.
I know what. Come here,
no, there was no games. There was no games, so it's just time for Academy Watch. I kind of just wanted to hear the music anyway.
Okay, right. So where are we going now? So
we're going Commie. Even though
communists, Declan, the communists.
Going to Commie.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
The women's team, they drew 3-3 away in Cliftonville in the All-Ireland Cup. Decky, I'm going to throw it to you here as always. What did you make of this one?
Yeah. Look, they were 3-1 down, so to get it back and draw 3-3 is a good effort, good result. Fianna Bradley's goal, which was Cork City's second goal, was an absolute belter from outside the box into the top corner. But the game wasn't on LOI TV, so all we have is the goals. So I can't really comment on the rest of the game. Long way to go. It's kind of, I'd argue that Cork City have gone the short end of the straw again. This is their third time in the North since this competition began. Obviously, it's an overnight trip. There's a big cost to it. Whereas clubs like DLR have never been in the North. They're in Dublin. The Dublin clubs have kind of been in the North maybe twice at most, and that's only a short spin up the road. It's only 130 kilometres or whatever it is. I think Cork City would have a right to feel hard done by in terms of the fixture scheduling. But look, it is what it is. They go to Galway next week. It's almost impossible for them to qualify for the quarterfinals. Almost impossible. They'd have to win in Galway by a substantial score. So they needed to win the game on Saturday, and they didn't, unfortunately. But sure, look, que sera, as they say.
Well, only you say that, really. Club transfer situation, Declan Carey, thrown to you here.
Yeah, we said we do maybe a little feature on this last week, Dan, on the pod. And special thanks to Connor K100 on X, who reached out to us and was a bit proactive in this topic. So we said we'd maybe take a deeper look into the current squad situation, whose loans are up in the summer and potential injuries and things like that. And so I put together a bit of a spreadsheet on it, and thanks to Connor as well, who contributed an awful lot of this. So basically, like at the moment, we have 26 players registered in our senior team. I would class probably 21 of them as what we would call senior players. So for any doubt, I'm just going to call out who I would class as not the senior players. So Aaron Healy, Matthew Murray, David Dunn, Matthew Kiernan and Harvey Skeeters. They're all, I guess, what you would deem as young players who don't feature that often, and they've come up from the academy, and they're not as prominently featured or relied upon in the squad.
Can I interject already, please? I would certainly be for moving Matt Kiernan out of that group and into the group of senior players, I have to say.
Yeah, he did certainly made one or two decent appearances this season so far. So, but look, it won't change too much anyway, Dick, in terms of the overall picture. But yeah, that's a fair one. I was on edge about him, to be honest. But yeah, look, I'm sure he'll prove me wrong, and I hope he does. But looking at our long-term injuries, then we have got 4 on long-term injuries. We think Malik Dykesteel hasn't been seen in a long time, and we don't really know what the situation is there. Conor Joynin, similar situation. Benny Couto, recent injury, and we're unsure really what his timeline is. And then obviously, unfortunately, Rory Keating will be out for more or less the rest of the season. And then you've got looking at 4 loans, 3 of them of which are expiring at the end of June? Those that expire until the transfer window opens. So those are Troost, Shipston and Nelson. And then you've got potentially then as well transfers in the summer. So obviously Cathal O'Sullivan, who is more or less a banker to leave. And there's rumours around Matthew Murray and David Dunn potentially moving to clubs on the continent perhaps. And Aaron Healy, we reckon, look, I don't know, this is complete speculation, but there's probably a strong chance he might move to Kerry. But look, I think that would be a good move for him, even on loan as well, possibly. So there might be some chatter about that, who knows. And then look, you've got the Sean Maguire situation as well. Look, he's just coming back from injury as well, and Greg Bolger. So look, I'm classing them as no issues really. But you're kind of looking at a situation here now in July. If those transfers go through and none of the loans are extended, and we still have those 4 players injured, you're talking maybe 15, 16 senior players left in the squad if we don't bring in anyone else. So I guess some of the numbers we've been floating there in the last few weeks of maybe bringing in 3 players, 4 players, it's probably realistically more kind of 5 to 7 players, isn't it? Depending on the injury situation. If Dykesteel comes back all of a sudden and Couto's injury isn't as bad as we think it, and Shawnee can stay fit, then you might get away with maybe 4. But I think it's looking pretty grim.
7.
and we'll look. Obviously, we'll put this spreadsheet up as well for our Patreon subscribers as well before the pod comes out on Wednesday. So you'll hopefully have it when you're listening to the pod. But look, 7, you reckon, Wayne? Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Like, I think we have to throw the kitchen sink at it.
How many think we will get, though?
When we need 2 centre-backs, we need 2 wingers, 2 centre midfielders, a goalkeeper, and probably a left-back. So we actually probably need, 8? Because Dykesteal, like, I always rated him. I know some don't. He's too injury-prone. Shawnee's too injury-prone. Kyle's going to be gone. Sean Murray and Bolger are just... You're not sure who's going to turn up. I don't mean that in the heart. I do mean that in the heart, so actually. You're not sure which one how they're going to show up at a game. So do you know what? I'm all doom and gloom here, so maybe pass on to the next person.
And do you think we're a bit light up top then, Wayne, to what you just said there? If Cahill goes, Shawnee, I hope his injury are behind him now for the rest of the year, but like...
We have to prioritise the back. I go for 4 defenders. I actually would I go for 4 defenders. I get 2 centre halves and 2 fullbacks, and if Kuda comes back, amazing. He can play further up the wing anyway. This is the problem we have to rebuild in 1 month. This is why we're 10 points behind. We have to rebuild a whole squad. Unless now we're lucky that Truce stays and Nelson stays. Yeah, great. Dykesteal comes back, Kuda comes back. It's all ifs and buts, like.
Mm-hmm. And
so I think it's a bridge too far. We just need to win the...
And some of the things I left out, look, we think Daniels is probably going to stay at the end of the season, and there's maybe an option on him, but technically he's out of contract with the club, or so they're saying in the summer as well. And like Freddie Anderson, his club could call him back as well from loan. I know it's a loan till the end of the season, but they technically could recall him. So he's a risk, I suppose, in one sense, but there's just a lot.
He's a risk in lots of senses.
Yeah. So there's a lot of question marks on that squad. Like I'm saying, 15, 16 players that we'll have like fit and will definitely be there in July.
Be realistic now. How many do you think we'll actually get? There'll be 5, I think.
I think 5 as well. Yeah,
4.
5, man.
4.
Lads, where are these 4, 5, 7 players coming from?
Oh,
like who's joining us? Like, I mean,
this is the reason we brought in Jornash. Surely, like his contract.
But you bring. What are you coming in for? 6 months? You could be in the first division. Then you're going to sign in a year and a half. To you?
Well, no, you sign a year and a half, and this whole clause thing.
But we're
massively, say if you get relegated, you can leave.
We're massively behind the black ball here. Like, I mean, it's like I said about negligence and putting the squad together. Find yourself in a summer window where you have to spend way more money than you ever planned to, and you're now spending, and it's the cost of not doing proper business in the winter. From last July to last January, where you had the opportunity to build a squad. You told us all you had a 6-month start on everybody else, and we were going to do X, Y, and Z. You're going to pay through the nose for players this season. I can't see anybody. There's nobody in the League of Ireland.
That's great.
I know, I understand that, but I'm just talking from the business sense and the rest of it. If you're a player in the League of Ireland, you're not coming down here to join us. And if you are, we're paying you through the nose. There's nobody at any decent League of Ireland player isn't coming down here. Because going like, why? Like, I'm going down into the middle of this mess, and it is a mess. And we'll talk later on about why it's a mess, and it's a bigger mess this week than it was last week because of the fan reaction and the way the fans are going now and everything else. Like, there's no upside for a player to come down here other than a decent wage. I cannot fucking believe everything that happened 2 years ago. We didn't learn from it. We said we did. We pretended we did, but we didn't, because here we are again. And like, as I said, where are the players coming from? Oh, Jornash knows this young. If he knows a guy, he's 20 and he played in Finland, is he mentally built for this relegation battle? Is he physically built for the League of Ireland? Who knows? But you tell me that you're going to bring in 5 of those players who are mentally, physically built for this league and who are good enough to try and overhaul a 10-point gap on Waterford and 11-point gap on Galway? I say they don't exist, I'll be honest with you. Not at the level of money we're willing to pay and the rest of it. Like, I just don't see it. I can't see how it goes, and it should never have come to this. Should never, ever, ever have come to this.
When?
I don't think anyone here is saying we're going to get them. We're just saying this is what needs to happen.
This is what we need, yeah.
Is it like, I don't think, I actually think we're going to go down 10th spot, relegated. That's what I think anyway. I don't think there's any hope, because I think 10 points, we have to go on a title chasing run, and we need teams above us to just capitulate, just go, and I can't see that happening, because I can't see us building a brand new team in 1 month ready to go. And if we do, amazing, but I just can't see it. I feel worse now than in 2023. I really do. I have zero trust in him to do it.
But like you said there, Dick, like we just have to have faith that like Jordan Ash was brought in because of his ability to improve the current players that are there, and he might have some recruitment gems in his back pocket. Otherwise, why did we swap out Clancy for him? Like he said before, as Mick McCarthy was one of his mentors, and Jim Crawford worked with Ireland under 21s or underage, and I'm sure he'll know a player. I'm only guessing here, but how else did he get the job? Liam Kearney said in an interview there 2 weeks ago, and he knew who had the job, and he said it'll be someone that can put the strategy there to get us out of the current hole that we're in. And he knew who was getting the manager's position, so we have to take his word in good faith that I suppose he meant what he said, and that Jordan Ash was the right appointment, and the proof will be in the pudding in the window, I suppose.
I say this again. The list of credentials that Liam Kearney gave as to what the manager should be, Jordan Ash ticked very few of those boxes for me. Very few of Liam's boxes. So whether Liam knew or not, and he was just making a statement and telling the club what he thought anyway, I don't know. But I'm going to go off topic here now for a second, but it's funny because you mentioned Mick McCarthy and Jim Crawford, and I talked about how the club were in constant contact with Jordan Ash for a decent period of time. Who spoke at our season launch back at the start of the season? In whichever the hotels we had.
23 was it? Jim Crawford came down.
Jim Crawford. Out of the blue, we were like, Jesus, Jim Crawford, where did he come from? How did they manage that? He's Jordan Ash's buddy. The thing for the Opera House, the weekend, the Italian 90 reunion, who was the lead man in that? Mick McCarthy. Oh, he's Jordan Ash's buddy as well. So don't tell me, people, that we weren't talking to Jordan Ash, that we didn't have contact, because Jordan Ash's hands and buddies are all over this stuff, and that's good. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. But look, I'm going to get myself in a rage now again. How did this club allow itself to get into this fucking position again? It just makes no sense. Well, sorry, it does make sense. It does make sense. We just cheaped it out. We tried to cheap it out as much as we possibly could. That's how it looks. You can tell me I'm wrong. We know what the budget was. I'm not going to say because it's commercially sensitive material, but we know what the budget was. You have to take the two lads out of that budget, and what's left for building the rest of the squad isn't the budget. It's not a feasible budget. Now we're going to increase that budget come the summer. And again, for the 17,000th time, I'll ask, why the fuck did we not just do that last in the off season and put together a proper thing and bring in a proper squad and proper players, and we wouldn't now be tearing our hair out and pulling ourselves left, right and centre about what's going to happen in July? Because what's going to happen in July, like everything else that's happened this season that has mirrored the 2023 season, I'd have any money that what happens in July now just mirrors the 2023 season. And we'll be talking in August about, we can still pick up free agents till the end of August. I
know they need time to gel.
Come on,
sorry, they're only here a few weeks. They need time and whatever. And we've got 4 big games over 3 weeks in the start of September. That'll be the key. Or we're playing Sligo, the second last game of the season. We just need to get to that game. Come on now. I can hear and see it all.
The big hope is, like Scotty's mentioned, is that Owen Elding leaves Sligo in the window. That's the big hope, because he's very, very good. And if you take Owen Elding out of that team, then they become, and here I'm doing it now again, I'm looking for ways that we can finish 9th,
Well, you can't be relying on weakening the other.
All I wanted to do was finish 8th. I would have been delighted to finish 8th, happy to finish 8th, no problem. let's just finish 8, lads. We'll have a little bit of a sweat for 9th over a couple of times over the season, but we'll be grand. We'll finish 8. That's all people wanted. That's all I wanted.
I'm going to officially withdraw my 6th prediction anyway I made in my first appearance on TV. I was so excited, lads, to join the pod, and the buzz was back, and I was like, I said it was going to be like the 2003 season with Georgie and Flinney back and everything and all these new guys, and it was going to be great and everything. Look, I apologise. I take it back. I was wrong. You don't hear me say that often, but yeah, I was wrong.
When you were so adamant that it was unacceptable for this club to, or for me and Deacy to predict at the time that we would finish in 8th, what do you think of that now?
It is always unacceptable, but what can you do? You know?
I think, Wayne, in your defence, to be fair to you, you try a lot to make sure that this like mediocre attitude doesn't creep in with the club, because like that the entirety of Bishopstown Training Ground listens to this podcast, and I think what you want is, you don't want the players and the club and the staff hearing that we all accept 8th, and that mentality then just means you're doomed to relegation. Really, like, isn't it? You were saying we should.
But the problem is, we are doomed for relegation. Yeah. I can't see any way out of this in 1 month. We literally have 6 weeks. If it's 6 weeks, we're done anyway. There is zero chance I think we're getting out of this. And that is absolutely, at least in 2023, right? We had decent players with a shit attitude. And every week we hoped, we prayed, this is it now. They'll go on the piss this weekend and they'll go, okay, let's get together now. The problem we have now is there's a narrative of crap players putting a big effort in. Well done, lads. We'll get there eventually. It doesn't work in football. And we're not going to turn around the whole squad in 1 month. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you laugh about it. I hope we're here in October, November going, hey, you remember that? And going on the piss. We're amazing. Club is doomed, in my opinion.
We'll be lucky to make that to that relegation playoff.
It's sad that my opinion on it has changed. I was going for Europe at the start of the season, lads. Go for Europe, like. And we've been hoodwinked again. And that's the word. We're calling this podcast Hoodwinked, because that's what's happened.
You just have the cover already designed and all that, and you were determined to call it Hoodwinked.
It's heartbreaking though, like it is. I was talking to a fella today in work, like, and we were just looking at each other going, this is horrendous. And it affects you mentally. It ruined my whole weekend. Absolutely ruined the whole weekend.
All right. It's time to get in. Well, we were talking about Deacy going into a rage there. There was a bit of rage again up in Galway when the fans kind of are falling apart and just turning on each other now. There was videos released.
It's about time, Dan. Do you know?
Maybe it's about time. Bit of handbags. But like, what I don't get, lads are entitled to boo, surely. What's your opinion of that one anyway, first of all?
They're entitled to say what they like. They're entitled, and this is the problem with this. It's this whole, I can't say this to someone. It's football. Get over it, like. We got our grief for it. No, fans are getting grief. If a fan wants to boo, he pays the money, he can do what he likes. This isn't going into town and shouting at some randomer in the street. You go into a football game to know it's about pride and passion, and it's tribal, and that's what it is. And if fans are getting at each other's throat, maybe it's a good thing. No harm.
Like I'm seeing the positives in it, Wayne, to be honest. Overall, like, I get it from both sides, to be honest. Like, if someone wants to boo, boo. But like, if someone then tells you to don't boo, like, you can't get your back up then and be cribbing about free speech and this kind of thing in one sense. Like, and I don't know, like, I just see, I overall, I think it's good because, you know, it shows that people care, and, you know, when the club maybe see and hear this, they might wake up a little bit, like, and see how much this means to people. And but like, do you know what? Like, everyone has a different opinion who's watching that game, and like, look,
come on, you're an away fan. You've gone from Cork. You spent how much money getting up to Galway, and they're throwing that again, once again. And these are the same lads who someone in the video was going at. These are the same lads who go to every single away match up and down this country.
I know some of them, and they're
so much money.
Yeah,
but for someone to turn around to them not to boo, it really annoyed me. They're ones.
But who are these people telling them not to boo? Like, they're not the boo police. Like, or like, you how dare they?
They are. They're just
so they are. Cartman, respect my authority. You know, don't
like,
boo. Like,
they're not club officials. They're not like they're not some of the commies. Like
City fans. I'm just sick of it. And one of the players I won't even mention telling the fans to calm down. It's like, lad, you've been here a wet week. Like, hold on a minute. Like, these lads are following this club for how long?
Absolutely.
The whole thing just annoyed me.
I wonder, do the club realise, I would say club, no, I mean players, staff, owners, even fans, I think, a lot of them too. Do they realise how much shit we're in? And we're not even halfway through a season. We're 10 points behind. And yeah, we're going out here, we're close there, we're doing well. The problem is half this team's being ripped out in a month's time. So we're back to square one. And do they realise how deep in the shit we are? I don't think they do.
The players surely know. Sure, some of them are probably switched off. Sure, if they're going home to some degree, you know, why wouldn't you?
I think the Galway game is where things just change. It's shifted. I think mentality is shifting.
Yeah,
hopefully, and I can see it online, a little bit of here and there. And people who are all pro club are kind of sitting back a little bit, not saying too much. You know, not shouting down. I think if we don't have players lined up by July 1st. And it's the whole Ben Warman and Kravchuk thing 3 weeks later. Shit is going to absolutely hit the fan. Like
Warman was good, man. Warman wasn't too bad.
No, but he was 4 weeks
fit.
too late. He was 4 weeks disappointed. Yeah. If they're in July 1st, right, by the 3rd week of July, listen to me, I can't even make excuses here. By the 3rd week of July, they're semi-fit. And if Jack Daniels can do it, everyone else can do it. So get him in July 1st, have him run up fucking the north side for fucking 6 hours a day and get him fit and get him on the pitch. None of this wait until August shit. If you can't, if the excuse is players won't sign for us because they're waiting, well, that's your fault because you should have signed them in January.
Oh, and get them up and down Strawberry Hill Way, and that'll teach them.
That's it, Patrick's Hill, up and down the fucking place. I'll stand there, I'll fucking march him up the bloody hill, no problem.
Do you think this gets worse now?
Yes, I do. I think
it can't.
It's been tetchy or so the last month. You could see online kind of bit of back and forth between different people. Obviously, the forum is very tetchy. Then you see it coming in the stands, and like Deck says there, lads are entitled to boo. Of course they are. You know, like I don't boo, I don't applaud, and I would tell them straight out, you know, I won't boo you, but I'll roar and I'll shout at you and I'll tell you exactly what I think. I won't impose my opinion on somebody else and go, oh, you shouldn't be booing, or and there was all kinds of things said by all accounts. Go away and support somebody else. You're not real City fans. That's wrong. This kind of nonsense, like, you know, and like from people who have connections to people on the pitch and everything else, like, which, you know,
who've just been here for a year or two as well.
Yeah, just puts it at another kind of level as well, because it's like you don't get to tell our fan base, you don't get to tell the club's fan base who've been on the road for donkey's years, who've been on the road, as Dan said, up and down the roads of this country, week in, week out this season. They've seen 2 wins. 2 wins all season is what we've seen. You don't get to tell them that they're not real supporters, or that they don't support this football club, that they should go support somebody else. How fucking dare you? Genuinely, now as I think about it as I sit here, how dare you tell people that they're not real fans or that they don't support this club? I mean, it's actually scandalous, carry on. And then to put your hands on people? Come on. Like, come on, seriously, like. So the guards are involved, stewards are involved. Guards. Like, you know, like, come on, like, that's all I can say is come on. Like, I mean, have a long heart, think about what it is you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I didn't think it went that bad, no, Dick. I thought it was just a bit of like, you know, lads, ease off the boo and come on, they need our support or anything. But if
no. This was you're not City supporters, you're not real supporters. Look off and support somebody else. Like, this stuff is like, for me, it's nonsensical. And
from people that were supporting Galway like 2 years ago, like,
yeah, and this is players are on the pitch, they're professional footballers, they know, like, this is part of being a professional footballer. You go out, you get beaten every week, you don't track runners, you give up late goals, there's 15 yards of space in the box in the last 10 minutes every game. Of course fans are going to let you know how they think, and they're right, and they have every entitlement to. So, like, let's drop the pretense here now of this positivity only crap. Like, it doesn't work. Nobody wants to engage with it. Nobody wants to be determined and ruled by positivity only.
Do you think it's like a sign of the modern player deck, like this whole soft
and
mentality?
this is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say. It raises serious questions about the mental, the mental aptitude, the mental toughness of the players. Of course it does. No, I didn't see a thing from the players the other night that said they weren't mentally tough, they weren't mentally weak. It's people in the crowd reacting. Shawnee spoke to the supporters. JD spoke to the supporters. There was other players spoke to the supporters. And from what I gather from talking to people, they appreciated that the players spoke to them and took on board the concerns and the rest of it. So I don't have questions like that at the moment. But when you see Conor McCormack free in the box with 4 minutes to go, when you see Jamie Lennon, 2 defensive midfielders, free in the box 6 minutes into injury time, I start to look and question other things like, are we fit enough? Because we're clearly turning off. We're clearly turning off and we're switching off late on in games. Is that tired minds caused by tired bodies? Is there an issue with fitness at the club? Is it just players not willing to do the hard lines, not willing to do the hard work, do the hard graft? I don't know. All we know as fans is we look at the league table and we're 10 points. 10 points off Waterford. 10. 11 off Galway. We all saw on Friday night what a muck side Galway are. And they are muck, like. Kick it up, hope Pat Hickey gets a flick on it, and if Moses Dwyer is around, he might do something magic and we'll score. That's the game plan. That's all they have. Are set pieces, corners and free kicks. That's all they have. They're muck. They're 11 points clear of us. So if they're muck, what does that make us? And this is the issue. And Galway's last 4 games, we spoke about a mini league 6 weeks ago, a month ago, a mini league of Bohs, Waterford, Sligo, and ourselves. Galway's last 4 games: home to Bohs, lost and didn't score; away to Waterford, lost and didn't score; home to Sligo, lost and didn't score; home to Cork City, won and scored twice.
Yeah.
Right? That's the mini league. Waterford played the mini league 4 games in a row. We're the only ones they beat, and we're the only ones they scored against. So it's very obvious where the issues are. Like,
when you're in a rut, we're the team you want to play because
absolutely,
and you always get that last minute goal then, or the late goal to win it and send the crowd into raptures, like, So it's like Pats did it the week before, Galway did it. Like, Pats weren't doing too well, like, up to that as well, and they were a bit ropey. And Galway obviously they lost 4 in the trot or something. So
4 in the bounce they lost, yeah.
But what better way to boost your confidence? And like even Sligo as well. Like, the worrying thing I feel is, like, obviously they beat Galway the week before, and then they took that confidence into the Shells game. Away to Shells, they took the lead, then they went behind, and they had Shells pinged in late on. They lost it 3-2, but like, they could have easily snuck a point, and if they did, then we'd be rock bottom on points too. Like, we'd be a point behind.
What happens when Sligo do overtake us? Which I just see every possibility is happening. Maybe not this
Who do they have Friday?
The same thing happens as it happened in 2023. Everyone makes excuses and no one really cares. That's what's going to happen. Let's not pretend that everyone's going to be, that's what's going to happen.
But what can we do? There's nothing we can do. Like, what are we going to do? Get banners out or something? Like, no, that's probably not going to happen either. I don't think that there's enough
there's not enough pressure being put on in general to make the fans' voice heard.
How would you apply the pressure when, practically speaking? We're not acknowledging the fact, no, we're not back in 2004, 2005, like with the old shed and all this kind of stuff. How would you practically do it? Any ideas? That's a legitimate question. No, I'm not trying to be smart or anything.
At what stage do we do that? Like, you can't do it now because we got to give him a chance until the window, right? After the window, she has the fan. I think it'll turn nasty. I think people will turn nasty, but I think a lot of people won't care because it'll be down to about 1,500 a game. So you ask me a question: how do you put pressure? Like, through social media, through singing, through when you're at match day, make your voice heard.
Like, boo the players off the pitch at the end, support them for 90 minutes, then a stadium chorus of boos. And as you said,
the problem there is that in July, when new players in, do you boo them? They don't deserve to be booed.
But like,
but this is the point. Like, it's a situation. It's like he says, last July 2024 was a time to sort this shit out. It's probably too late now. This is the point I'm making.
It's too
but
late.
if new players did come in and we carried on in a poor run of form and the crowd were unanimously booing, like they're obviously booing the club, not those individual players.
I think we got past booing at that stage. Let's be fair here now. Anyone who's left is going to be angry. Not condoning it. I'm just saying that's what happens. Like, I think the last time people just were in shock about it. I don't know. Like, in 1 minute I'm saying people won't care, another minute I'm going to say people are angry. I don't know. Like, but this is the thing. Like, it's.
But they're angry, but there's nothing you can do. Realistically, there isn't.
Not in this day and age. There probably isn't. It's just people need to show their voice more and just like, no, don't be calling. You don't be shouting down at people either. But like, make your voice heard either too. Like,
yeah, like Twitter will just be. It's always as the forum will just be dismissed as those whingers on the forum, you know.
I don't know. I actually don't look. I don't know either. But all I know is like there's people to blame here, like, and there's a lot of people at that football club. And look, I'd be putting in Tim Clancy in there too, like ex-manager, like great time for him. But like, Jesus, if the money wasn't there, walk away, like, or put pressure on. Don't just take it. There's owners, there's the people at the club, players. Like, there's so many people to take the blame here.
I've said this before about Tim. Like, I think it's unrealistic to expect a man. Like, there's no multi-million euro contracts there. Like, you know, managers in this league are getting a living wage. Probably not much more. Some of them probably aren't even getting a living wage. You just can't walk away. Like, you know, the first chance he got to walk away was when he got the gym up and running and whatnot, and he did walk away, and he got stones for that. Like, so, I think Tim was in a very difficult position, to be honest with you. And like you say, fight for more money. He did fight for more money. Like
but then in the media, it didn't sound like that. This is how we put pressure on.
No, of course, but
you don't have to go, I want more money, demanding. You can say certain things in the media. And he tried that. It gets twisted.
He did with Darren Maloney, and nobody picked up on it. Only us. But we're the only ones who picked up on it. Did you hear about it on Red FM? Did you hear about it on 96 FM? Did you read about it in the Echo or the Examiner or the Mirror or any of them? No, you didn't.
So what do we do now? So, Decky, what's the next step?
I genuinely don't know. I don't know, because, like, as I keep saying, like, there's no, like, if a Dublin club was being run the way that we're being run, and like, say, St. Pat's or Bows had the 5 years we've had, there'd be column inches full from here to fucking Mallow, you know, with stuff written. There's nothing written about Cork City because fundamentally nobody cares, you know?
That's the problem. Yeah.
But, like, I was in stitches, and I'm not, like, I was in stitches during the week with the Gary Neville thing at Nottingham Forest happened, you know? It was like, I'm reading all this stuff in the Irish media and Irish journalists writing about, you know, Nottingham Forest are a disgrace and you can't have censorship and all that. Nobody gave a shit when it happened in this country, in the FAI stood over it twice, you know? No, they're comparing themselves to Sky Sports. No, we're not. I'm just making the point that the same thing happened in this country, and no journalist gave it a second thought or a column inch. Now what happens in England, and it's a disgrace, and it's this and that and everything. Nobody gives a shit about us down here. Like, they just don't. And, like, if journalists were right, like, where the Echo, where the Examiner, where 96 FM, where a Red FM, like, there hasn't been one critical article in the Echo all year. One critical article in the Examiner all year.
Because you know
what happens when you do.
Yeah. They're afraid to write any form of a critical piece.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
This football club and its fans are in a situation where we can't really say boo. You know?
We literally can't anymore.
You know what I mean? Like, and we're sleepwalking into the first division again. And yeah, just so we know, we will be back here next year giving shit. It'll be the worst podcast in the history of the planet, and we're going to hammer this club every single week next year if we go down. Every single week.
I feel like we're going in wide awake into the relegation.
I won't be here, lads.
I'll be here, don't you worry. Me and Techie and fucking Dan are coming back too.
Yeah, I have reinvigorated the blood flow of the pod, lads. We can't. No, I know, Dick, you made that promise. Like, one way to kill the podcast is get relegated, but geez, we can't. Like, nah, we can't give them one positive to be celebrating out in Bishopstown. Like,
no, yeah, grand. I say no, I won't be back, but sure, look, we all know what happens. Like,
people need to realise, right, that this football club has been a big part of people's lives for 20, 25, 30, 35 years, right? And the way the club is going now is nothing short of an absolute fucking disgrace. And it's just not acceptable. Get your finger out, sort this shit out, and get this club back to where it belongs. End of fucking story.
I actually think, Wendy, I was thinking about this last night, about the pod tonight, and I know I harp on about him so much, but the only solution here is, and I don't think it's going to happen, is just he sold up the chipper there now and closed it down or whatever. He's got plenty of time on his hands. I think I would be on the phone to him every day and drag him out to Bishopstown and get his full advice on everything. Like, we talk about like the lack of potential footballing knowledge at board level at the club at the moment, and all this, and all these different people in the owner's ears and this kind of stuff. Like, you just need to bring him in, and he'll call bullshit on all the shenanigans going on, and he'll make sure that things, at least in that side of the house, are kept in a good shape for the rest of the season. I can't see any other, like, especially we need his leadership and his direction, like, no doubt about it. And he's perfectly there to do it. But I just don't think the club will reach out to him, which is unfortunate.
Something Wayne said last week was the mental health thing, and I kind of didn't realise it at the time. But Jesus Christ, I realised it Friday. I was miserable. Ruined the Friday night anyway. Ruined a fair bit of the Saturday, like. I just don't think people at the club realise just what it means to people. Like, we're from Cork, it's a representation of the city or the county we're from, and I don't know, just feel so disillusioned with the whole thing now, to be honest with you. I'm sick of it.
I'll tell you this much now, Dan. I was so depressed after the game on Friday night, right? I watched 2 episodes to cheer myself up of The Handmaid's Tale.
I don't even know what that is, and it sounds grim.
To cheer myself up, I watched. So you don't know what it is, Deck? I'll tell you what it is now, right? It's set in the future, in this dystopian future where things are so bad that they keep flashing back to the past where things were much better, and it goes back to kind of the glory years when things were much better than they are now in the dystopian future. And they keep flashing back, and they keep talking about the past and how great it was and whatnot, and then it goes back into the here and now, and everybody's miserable again, you know. And basically, you go back to the past for a flashback, and everything is great, but things are starting to get a little bit downhill. Then you come into the future, and basically, in the dystopian here and now as it is, basically all that happens is the establishment are fucking everybody left, right, and centre, you know. And
this sounds like the other Three Amigos podcast.
Sounds like Cork City Football Club, doesn't it? But like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. And Scotty came into the group Friday night. I don't know what time it was, 11 o'clock, 10 past 11, and he was in a mess going, "Where's everybody? Why is nobody son?" Like, and it was just like,
yeah,
Scotty, what's left to say? It's the same every week. There's nothing new to say here. Like,
the form was the same.
And it was just dead. It was just like everybody just got up and went, "Not again. I can't do this again." Like, and then if you're somebody who's gone to Galway and you've been in Pats the night before or the week before, and you're coming down the road again, and people are telling you you're not a City fan, you're not a real fan because you booed, or you should go support somebody else. Of course your head's wrecked. Of course you're checking out. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you? You know? And the club are just shrugging their shoulders and, you know, boo-hoo-hoo, don't say anything bad about us or we'll block you on Twitter. Don't ask any tough questions. You won't be allowed into the press conferences. Don't you dare put a foot out of line, or, you know, you won't be doing the press conferences. You might get kicked off the commentary gig. Where's John O'Flynn? Anybody heard of John O'Flynn in a commentary gig since the night he did our podcast?
He was commentating, was it for who there? Was it in Turner's Cross? But it was for an away team. Was it Derry? That Radio File, was it?
Was John on Radio File that night, was he?
Did I dream that?
I don't know, did you?
I'm pretty sure he was.
He hasn't been on the home commentary since
Kevin,
the night he did this podcast.
That was Kevin Galvin, but anyway.
That's interesting, Decky. Didn't cop that now myself.
Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
Don't step out of line, lads. Don't step out of line.
How would he have stepped out of line, though? Out of curiosity, like.
Well, remember he was doing the.
He was
Rebel
stepping in
Army,
the odd time,
and they had to cancel it. And then he came on with us before he did the Rebel Army. He never did the Rebel Army afterwards, and he hasn't been in the commentary booth. No, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying from the outside looking in, I'm not aware of John having been in the commentary box, and he didn't do the Rebel Army podcast since. So,
if someone tells me he has, we'll ignore it anyway, so that's fine.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4, 5 maybe.
Yeah, I remember that, all right. That was part of TOTAP folklore, like when you stole him from the rappers. That was brilliant.
Probably the greatest.
Yeah, that was
the Louis TOTAP
Louis Britton one from
yeah,
Waterford. It was better. It was better. I'll admit it. That was better.
There was a game on Friday. Does anybody really want to talk about it? Are we just going to say how just?
I think we need to talk about the goal and the moments that leading up to the goal and the absolute terrible defending that went on. Decky's probably more qualified than me to look at this, but I looked at the goals again today, and I couldn't even tell, right, if we were just really bad at zonal marking or really bad at man marking. I couldn't tell what we were trying to play because there's a cross that comes in, a free kick from the left, and I think is it who was Cunningham? Was it
Cunningham? Yeah.
The 3 Galway players peel off the defence, and any one of them could have got to it. It should have been the back of the net.
Yeah,
their goal, right? Our players are sprinting back, right? Running back. Their 3 attackers just peel off, and there's 4 lads in the penalty area, free as birds. I just don't know what's going on. Like, I just can't compute how bad defending it was, and I didn't realize at the time because you're in the WhatsApp and you're chatting away and you're on the forum and you're having a few drinks, whatever. You don't really So I tried to understand why are we doing this, and I don't think it has anything to do with fitness or effort or mindset. It's just we're shit at defending. And I'm not pointing people out here, but it's basic stuff in football. I think if you put 4 of us right in a defensive line, we may not be good at it, but at least we'd know what we're fucking doing. Like
our sheer mass,
not me anyway.
Block the door.
Don't put me in that bucket, man.
Communicate, just talk. 4 lads running back, and they just keep running. It's like they're fucking running through a 100-meter sprint, and then the 3 Galway lads peel off. There's McCormack then, so you might have 4 chances to give it to 4 different players, and every one of them would have hit the back of the net. We should have lost that game about 3 or 4-1, like.
And Galway were shit, as Decky said earlier. They were shit.
This is the biggest game of the season, and we've bottled it, right? Not even bottled it. We're just shit. And this is the problem. I know I'm going on and on in a negative fucking way, negative this, and now he's out again. Look at the problem, and that's the point. It's just, I can't understand how bad it was. I hope Decky can explain there's a reason behind it, because I just couldn't see it.
But Decky, apart from the huge defensive blunders, I felt we were the better side. But it's just they let us down time and time again.
We were better side first half. And obviously Cahill misses the chance just a minute before half time, whatever it is, and that's a huge point in the game, because if we go in 1-0, it's a completely different team talk, etc., all the cliches. What kind of got me was I thought we were very good first half. We were snapping into tackles. We were first to the ball. We were quicker. We were moving it well. We were doing well. The halftime substitution kind of gets me, because I remember at the time watching the game and it was made, and my thinking was like, Jesus, nice one. Fair play, Jar. He wants to be positive. He wants to go and try and win the game. Shawnee's going to play as a 10. And Shawnee didn't. He played as a 2 with Jack. And we lost the body in midfield, and we had won the midfield battle in the first half, and we had dominated that area of the pitch. Galway completely took over the midfield in the second half because we took a body out of there and we put an extra body up top. Whereas I thought Shawnee was going to play a 10 and maybe drop in a little bit, and just be another body in there and make it awkward for them. And I thought first half we were very good. I liked the boldness of the substitution, but looking back on it, no, it was probably 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes too early, too soon. And like Galway scored in within 3 minutes of the start of the second half. And like, it's just horrendous. Like Scotty talks about the second goal. That first goal is horrific defending as well. You know, it's all from Anderson. There's no getting away from that, you know. I think it's an OG for him as he's stretching out to try and block the cross. Comes off his studs, loops over Troost and into the net. But look, he's a young fella. Young fellas will make mistakes. I like that Ger Nash took him off after 60 minutes because he made a second mistake. And in fairness to Ger, like, these are good signs from a manager. He said, no, I'm not having any more of this. You're done. Like, you know, off you go. Brought Matty Kiernan in, you know, pushed Dara in centre back and went with that. But in hindsight, I think the substitution at half time where he took a body out of midfield was tactically naive. As I said, we were dominating there. There was no need to change it at half time. And plus, to be fair, Shawnee didn't look fit. For 45 minutes, he had no impact in the game. He had none. And I have one major question, like the penalty that we get. Like, Christ, if Galway had been given that penalty, we would be doing, you know, there'd be no controlling us tonight. Like, there'd be no controlling us. But we got it. So we're going to say, okay, thanks very much, Mark Houlihan, much appreciated, you know. Why doesn't Shawnee take it? You know, he came off the bench the week before and he took the one at St. Pat's. So why didn't he take the one on Friday night? And this isn't questioning Shawnee or Colin. It was just one of those things that I was like,
I was shocked when he didn't actually take it. And I haven't thought about it since then, to be honest, because the result mattered most and I didn't think back at that detail. But that was an interesting, that was a good observation, actually.
Do you know? And
no
Jack
one remembers
it.
When Jack takes it and scores, really. But,
exactly. And he tucked it away fantastically. And even if the keeper went the right way, he wasn't saving it, you know? So was it a managerial decision? You know, what was it, you know?
To be fair, the week before, when Shawnee took it, Daniels had the ball in his hand. You could see it in the camera. And he wanted to take it. And they were kind of gesturing each other for about 30 seconds. Then Shawnee took it. So I'm wondering, did he just say, look, after he had a chat and say, look, I'll take the next one, you take the next one. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not calling it out. I'm not making an issue of it. I was just kind of
Was anyone worried when he saw Jack taking it?
I just kind of went, you can't miss it.
I'd never seen him take one before. Like, I was like, oh, God. But you know what? Fair play to him again.
It wasn't that I was worried that he wouldn't score. It was that I was worried what the reaction would be if he missed it. Because everybody's reaction would have been, why didn't Shawnee take the penalty, you know? So, but look, he takes it. And then, like, Conor McCormack comes on in, what is it, the 75th minute, I think, was it? And, like, you're bringing saying, Jesus, defensive midfielder. But, like, I presume John was bringing Conor on at that stage to say, right, you sit, you're the defensive midfielder, everybody else get after him. Because we're winning the midfield battle out. We can leave Conor sit, get as many bodies forward into the box and see if we can get a winner. And all of them, it's Conor McCormack that pops up in the box and whatever, is it the 86th minute or whatever it is. But look at where he runs from. Like, out on the sideline, nobody tracks him. No, it's Jack. He's Jack's man. It's Jack's job to track him. Jack just stops halfway through. But if you look at the still, like, as Conor comes in, as Wayne has already said, there's 3 other Galway players kind of along the line of the penalty spot. Ball can go to any of them, and none of our defenders or defensive know who's supposed to have who, what movements they're making. They've all lost their defenders. And then all we're hoping is that we can get a block on the ball. And it's like, it's Conor, comes onto it, thumps it in, takes off, knee slide. John Caulfield meets him, as he's entitled to do. They've won the game late on. Absolutely no issues with it. If they celebrated twice as hard, I wouldn't have any issues with it. Game finishes 5 minutes later. We're 11 points behind them, 10 points off third. Conor McCormack goes down, and I'm told lots of people give him a big clap and a cheer and a well done, Cormac.
Loudest clap of the night, apparently.
Yeah, well done, Conor, from the Cork City supporters. Like, I'm never going to call our own fan base out, but yes, Conor McCormack done brilliant things here. He won leagues, he won cups. We understand that. You know, we understand that. 1 league, 1 cup. Yeah, he just scored a goal that decimated our season. Why are we applauding him? Why are we clapping him? Conor doesn't expect to get clapped. Conor doesn't expect to get applauded. Yeah, and we talk about a soft side to us, soft side to the fan base, a soft side to the club. Nothing epitomises that soft side more than the biggest cheer of the night for Conor McCormack. Jesus Christ, like, we just lost. We might have just lost our season. It felt like we lost our season. Well done, Conor. You won a trophy here 10 years ago. Great goal. Well done. Like, I don't know. And I know that sounds like I'm calling out the fan base, and I'm not. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. It's just...
And I don't want to call out Conor McCormack either, to be honest.
No, I'm not.
You know,
Jesus.
he's a nice fella, and he probably was
Sorry,
paying
no,
his
hang
respect to City fans.
hang on now a second, right? I have no issue with a player celebrating against his own team. I'm all for it, right? But don't come back then. Oh, hi lads, I'm a great club. I love you to bits. Don't do that, all right? I don't mind you celebrating, but don't pretend then it's all fucking sunshine lollipops, all right? Not having it.
Yeah.
I need to mute myself for the whole rest of the podcast. You know, I really do, lads.
Maybe just a bit of reminds us a small bit.
Just while I'm at it, right? Can I say one more thing? I do a little stats, a small one compared to what Decky does, right? But duels, right? The percentage of who won the duels on game night, right? Against Galway, right? They won 68% of the duels. We won 32%. Right? That's shocking. We lost 2-1. Against Pats, they had 54%. We had 46%. They won 3-2. Against Derry, they had 56%. We won 44%. They won 2-1. Drogheda, they won 53%. We won 47%. They won 3-2. The only game, Sligo, 1-1. Sligo won 55% of the duels. Against Shamrock, we won 52% against 48%. And that was probably our best performance of the season. If you can't win your duels, your headers and your tackles, you're going nowhere, lads. Like, aerial duels, they won 75% of all aerial duels in the game. This is the problem. There's no point
because they play the game in the aerial duel zone anyway.
But still, you have to get stuck in, get the head in, get the elbow, get the knees up, and just fucking get them, not them. I really need to go on mute, sorry.
Right, I'll go to the player ratings here, all right. Daniels was your MVP with his average rating of 6.21. Sean Murray got a 5. Ben got a 5. Derek Crowley got a 5. Josh Fitzpatrick got a 5. Greg Bulger got a 5. Jornash got a 5. They basically all got 5s, except for who got a 4. Troost, Shipston, Lyons, and Anderson was last.
What did Troost do wrong, just out of interest?
He was on the pitch. I'd say he didn't score a goal. And yeah.
I can see
Troost gets a bad rep.
Referees, like.
He does.
Yeah.
He's probably, to me, he's one of our better players this season because we'd be absolutely mangled every game. He makes mistakes, of course he does.
The referee got a 4.2 from City fans. Like, he should have got a 10 out of 10.
Madness.
For that absolute bonkers decision. Like, how the defender could do anything other than what he did. And he actually tried to, like, put his hand, kind of tuck it behind his back.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Right, we have a few comments here as well. If you're the fellas that were squaring up to fans for booing that performance, you need to have a serious look in the effing mirror.
Agreed.
The next one here, as usual, ref gave us nothing. Seems to dish out cards for very little, and Galway got away either everything.
He gave us a goal,
especially Cunningham.
He gave us a goal. What are you talking about?
You would have to question some of the lone players' commitment, and do they understand what it means to the club based on the recent performances. It's been Danny Dyer. You should add an ownership group, as Decky says, rating. See how that goes. Are Anderson, Shipston and Nolan really better than the players we got rid of? Coleman, Coffey and Bagsy. Time to start worrying about Maguire. We're effed. Another relegation is on the cards. I don't trust these C-words to win a playoff against anyone. If we're lucky to finish 9th in the first place, 17 games into a season, and the absolute best we can hope for at this stage is effing 9th in a playoff. They can all F off. This shit has been going on since the latter end of the 2018 season. Apart from the 2022 season, the feel-good factor has been non-existent. This relegation will lay solely on the head of someone. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get League of Ireland, sorry. He doesn't get Cork, and I'm sick of it. Shit. Every effing week, same shite. I'd be happy to never see Anderson and Shipston play for City again. Galway 2, poor reffing decision 1.
That's probably the most accurate comment at the end, to be honest. Galway 2-4 decision won. Like, yeah, we're lucky to get the goal, to be honest. Like, no, in fairness, Cahill did have that great chance, but that was the best chance of the game.
Dan, remember before the season started, and I was like a fool. I was sitting there going, if we can get 10 points from the first 5 games, it gives a real rock solid start and a solid base to build from, right? 10 points from, and the fixtures are there. The fixtures are in our favour. We can definitely get 10 points from the first 5 games. We have 12 from the first 17 games.
And every other team got 10 points in the first 5 games except us, it seems. That's Sligo.
It's like, Jesus Christ, I was looking at the league table a while ago going, my good God, you're some clown.
And this is the worry. The team above us have 7 wins. Is it 7 wins they have?
Yeah.
And we've got 2. That's the problem. Like, if it was 3 or 4, if we were a win behind them, we'd say, oh yeah, it's all the draws we're doing. It's bullshit. No, we're just shit.
We don't want to forget about the people, our lovely people on X as well. James Greenham says, same old City, always losing. Same old City, always losing. Dave Crowley, badly need at least 2 centre-backs as Anderson's being targeted and a goalie. Scott Buckley says, same shit, different day. Some Russian-y communist name, Cork Shitty. Darren O.C., meet the new boss, same as the old boss. The Rebel Cork says, we never learn. Need a left back and 2 centre backs and a left winger ASAP. The Rebel Cork says 11 points. Thomas says same as last week and the week before and the week before. I'm tired. Finaldo losing the will to live, going down again. Ian Crowley, another loss, but we do have a cool young manager, so no need to worry. Roy O'Sullivan, just effing relegate us already. No hope from this squad. Long G, Cork City loves first division football. There's loads more, to be fair, but
it was mentioned in the forum today, Greg Sloggett is on a free transfer. He's a player we should be going for.
Like Sloggett, lads.
I know. We look where we are. Yeah,
I've said this 6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
we've forgotten what good players look like. As a fan base, we've genuinely forgotten what good players look like. I know.
He's got 170 games in his career League of Ireland experience, and he's 28. I'm just saying.
I know. It's what I know, and I understand. And if
he was one of the 5 or 6, I wouldn't be too upset. I'll be honest.
But he's not, like, as I said, yes, and it will do, and he'll possibly come in and whatnot. But as I said, like, we've forgotten what good players look like. Genuinely, as a fan base, we have. Like,
I agree with you. And on that positive note, it's time for half time. That concludes the end of the first half TOTAP. But stay with us as we'll be back in the second half with the mailbag as well as the Shells preview. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, listen up, toe tapper. Do you love us? Do you sit back and wait every week for the pod to drop? Do you close your eyes and listen to our dulcet tones? If you have answered yes to any of these, we need you to show us the love financially. There are costs involved in creating this multi-award-winning podcast. And if you aren't already a Patreon, then it's time to stop being a freeloader. For as little as $5 a month, you will get weekly exclusive pods. There's access to data, a member section of our website, special early bits of the normal pod, and you can have direct one-to-one access to us with new benefits also on the way. So head to patreon.com/TOTAP and sign up now.
Welcome back to part 2 TOTAP. It is now time for the mailbag. Joe, jeez, am I supposed to hit this button again?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
We had a half an hour.
He looks, he has got the style, he is a bowler at the back. He has got a big bag, and it is magnifique. It's the Bang's bag, baby.
All right, Bang's bag, Patreon questions. Philly says, will players want to join in July if the gap between City and 8th continues to open and they know we're set for a playoff?
Quick fire questions. That's it. Come on, let's go.
Let it finish the freaking question.
Wayne, are you going to give Philly more? No. Okay.
No,
Sean,
yeah.
Sean O'Sullivan, with a look at how badly we're playing this season and a look at our next 5 games, when the hell will we win again? Also, how many games do you all think we will win come the end of the season, which can't come soon enough? Oh.
7.
No, I haven't. 7, I feel like might be accurate. Decky?
We've won 2, like 9.
9. Okay. Is that including a win against the Celtic 4th-string team as well, is that?
Oh dear.
I don't even want to, yeah.
I hope we've egg on our face after. I hope that they throw this episode in our faces in 6. I really do. I'd be so happy. Like,
when we're City fans, we don't want the club to get relegated, and we want everything to boom and the buzz to come back, and be looking forward to 2026 and all this. Like, throw it back in our faces if we're wrong. Brilliant. No one would rather be more wrong than us if we survive and end up finishing 7th or something, and we go into 2026 with a lash of positivity and great players that were signed in July on 18-month contracts.
Jesus Christ.
I've wanted to be wrong. Everything I've said for 5 years in this podcast, I wanted the 90% of it to be wrong. The problem is at least 70, 75, 80% of it has been correct, like, you know, and like the start of this season, I begged and I pleaded and I fucking spoke about the squad, and I literally, like everybody else there in the mailbag, like fellas are talking about they're at the end of their tether, they're tired, they're not, like, people have just had enough, like, it's just enough. And I don't know how the end of enough manifests itself in the coming weeks. Probably manifests itself in a largely empty Turner's Cross. That's the most likely manifestation of people being tired and at the end of their tether with things. But listen, the club know the numbers. The club know how to run things properly. So we'll just have to
the fans will be blamed for that one again.
I reckon we'll win another 5 games anyway.
Jesus. Fair play to you.
5 games for me anyway, Dan. I reckon we'll win 5 games for the rest of the season.
Any rumours? One thing the club has managed with the committee is a fierce code of silence. Daniels came out of the blue, for example. I mean, I presume just Decky's the most likely to have a rumour.
Nothing. Somebody said that we would pay transfer fees for a couple of players, which is just mind-boggling, to be honest with you. I can tell you one that didn't happen, if that's any good to anybody at this stage. And I see that the Irish Football Blog had a piece up that Darragh O'Connor did with one of the Belfast newspapers, where he talks about coming back to the League of Ireland or coming back to the Irish League. But I can tell you that Darragh contacted Cork City, or his agent or whatever. Anyway, Darragh's people spoke to Cork City in January, see if there was any interest in Cork City signing Darragh, and they were told no, that we had enough attacking players.
What?
Yeah, I think he's improved since he left City, to be honest. Seems to be doing okay for himself, so I think he would have been an interesting recruit. But yeah, it looks like that ship has sailed, sadly.
Right. Ed says...
but look, I mean, it's
If we hear of any rumoured signings as well, we're just going to go all out with them now, because look, we did hear about Daniels joining as well, but we knew that the club were going to spring that on, Waterford at the last minute or something, and announce it an hour before the game. So look, we don't want, again, we sat on that one because we didn't want to ruin the club's big surprise and, that whole thing. But I suppose, look, if we hear about anything, and the time and the moment is right.
Right. Ed says, when it was said that there was money to spend this summer, do you believe that's coming from whatever fee we will receive from Cathal O'Sullivan, or was there actually a budget there all along and it was just complete negligence going with the tin squad at the start of the year?
Somebody else answer this now, because I just blow my fucking load again.
Will the crowds have dropped so much versus our average budget attendance of 4,000 plus that the transfer fee from Cathal is just to circumvent the dwindling crowds?
There you go.
Being devil's advocate.
Decky, what do you think?
I just think, as I've thought all year, there was a negligence in building the squad initially. Find yourself in a scenario. I don't think it's got anything to do with Cahill's transfer fee. I think if Cahill stays, there'll still be money there to strengthen the squad in July. Same question I've asked 17,001 times before. Why wasn't that just done in the last window? I'll never know. I'll never understand. But listen, I'm just a fat guy in a podcast who knows nothing. How could I ever possibly understand anyway?
You don't know the numbers, you see. Or Instagram questions. Johnny,
I know the numbers, Dan. I know we're 10 points from safety, Dan. Just the only numbers that people need to know these days. They're the important numbers. 10 points from safety.
Johnny Corkboy asks, booing players, lads fighting about it on Friday at full time, should they be booed? Look, we've probably already done it.
If you want to boo them and you're not happy, boo, yeah.
Darwill says, why were TOTAP not in Galway? Declan Carey, what were you up to? Like, I mean, obviously he just
because I was drinking a bottle. If I get home, that's what I was doing to myself. You know, I don't know what you lads are doing, but I was getting depressed, drinking.
I've a family to support anyway. Like, I've done the hard yards. My twins don't put themselves to bed. Like, they're not old enough. And of course, look, I'll be brutally honest as well. Like, I was looking forward to the Cork and Waterford game on Sunday. I had plans with my buddies, and we were going to go for a few pints before the match. And
on a serious note, all right, we've been there, done that. Spent 10, 15 years following that team around. Older now with families, it's not as easy to get away, leave work, find people to pick up the kids, and so it's just to have a few drinks at home and just watch the match.
Yeah, and lads, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but the Friday nights there where I left home at I try and get out of work as early as I can, bomb over to Turner's Cross at 5 o'clock. I wouldn't get out of there till 11:30 or something. Or, oh Jesus, I think my wife deserves a few Friday nights of me not driving up to Galway. Like,
I'd say your wife is praying you start driving to Galway for Friday night. To be honest with you.
Well, yeah, not quite, but she's.
And just to say as well, there was TOTAP representation in Eamonn Deacy Park. Do you know?
Yeah.
Donncha mightn't do the pod yet. His day will come. He might be doing the pods yet, but Donncha was there keeping an eye on things for us.
Check out his match report as well on TOTAP.ie.
Yeah, match report.
We had the lads in Bishops turn out there too, you know, the bloodline. So
yeah, you know, just
we always have TOTAP representation. They're everywhere.
TOTAP are everywhere, you know.
Thank you, Wayne, for that as well. These things are catching on. The ORC, the bloodline, the Rebel Chief. Well done. Yeah, great stuff. The t-shirts will be available soon, folks.
Going to go now to the questions in X. Ian Crowley says, a break from the doom and gloom. What factor in any other sporting platform would you like seen in soccer? Jesus. A Cork team winning from the hurling anyway would be nice.
Do you know what? It's not a different sport, but I saw Mark Clattenburg on it was on TikTok, or no, it was Instagram or something, right? And he was saying that to stop time wasting, it's up to the referee gives the players 5-10 seconds to take a corner, and if they don't take it in time, their corner is reversed. Same with a goal kick. I think it's a fantastic idea to trial run.
And the throws and all that, yeah.
Throws especially, yeah.
Yeah, the corner becomes a goal kick and the goal kick becomes a corner if the timing has been wasted. Jeez, it's hard to think off the top of your head from another sport. Like, I don't know. Is there something in could you do something with the basketball, like the five fouls and you're fouled out? Like, you know, is there some element to that where if a lad commits, say, 6 fouls in a game, he's gone? I don't know.
The Border League have one where they don't have corners, but if there's 5 shots that are saved by the keeper and go wide, they then get a penalty.
Interesting. That's a very
you can't change the rules of football at that. You know, you
can't. No,
I'd be going down the pomp and circumstance route, of course, anyway, and bring in full entrances like the WWE, and I think the basketball as well, like in like the Game 7 series and all that. You know, they introduce the players out, and it's big. Like,
that's not a bad idea.
Entrance music and stuff, and maybe the teams then could have a song that like their entrance music, like because. You know, I'm sure when we all think back at the big WWE superstars or the guys in the darts, we all know the song they come out to and all that stuff. And
actually do have a coming out song.
Don't even go there now. I mean a proper song, for God's sake, that the fans can associate with.
What song is it? I haven't actually heard it. I don't even know what the song is.
It's called Blood by the Dropkick Murphys.
And who are they?
They do Shipping Up to Boston. They've one song, Shipping Up to Boston. Do you know that one?
Are they American?
Yeah. Yeah,
they could use this one.
I would be so back. Knock the line back there. Knock the line back.
York.
Oh, wait till I'm back. The ORC's day will come, lads. I'm telling you.
What, you saying? So we should all invest in Forest now on we should actually do a kind of the heel turned, what's the word?
Face.
Hating Forest, but now suddenly we should all promote Forest and everyone put a tenner into Forest every month. Call-ins live. I keep forgetting to say it every week. Call-ins live are showing the games, the away games. Not sure if the home games, it's the away games. Fine point to Stout. Go down there. Let's all support Forest. Yeah, we're pro Forest now, lads.
We always were.
Yeah, of course we were. Great bunch of guys.
Jesus, lads, come on. They're doing great stuff. Come on.
Never a bad word said about Forest in this podcast, ever.
You called us communists.
This.
Well, that's more of an opinion than a bad word.
That was a club board.
All right. We were the original commies, like.
Roy O'Sullivan, should we spend the incoming Cahill money on a new purpose-built training facility? Invest in youth and future like promised. Also,
it wouldn't buy 10 bags of compost.
Let me finish.
Woodies, like.
And also discuss possible sell-on clauses. You keep interrupting every shagging question, and that should be included in the Cahill deal.
Like, how much money do people think we're getting for Cahill? You're not building a state-of-the-art training.
Can we discuss this? Because like everyone says, oh, do you think this? Is it 300 grand or less?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Isn't the compensation 300,000? Isn't that what they're saying?
That's not a minimum, though.
It's not. No. Like,
that's a minimum a club has to pay if it gets to the compensation scenario where he's out of contract. Cork City have retained him, and then they sign him on a pro contract without consulting the club. Then they owe us compensation.
300 grand. If we keep him to the end of the season and get 300 grand, take it. I wouldn't sell him for anything less than, if that's the case, if we get 300 grand at the end of the season, I wouldn't sell him less for 750,000. I wouldn't. Worth more to keep.
But then you need a club then to meet the compensation. The club can accept lower than the compensation. It doesn't mean then we have to take 300. Like, that situation could still arise where he plays the entirety of 2025. Then we retain him. He decides he wants to leave. We can still take 100k, 150, 200.
Why would you though?
Because a club might not be willing to pay the 300.
It's fine. Doesn't play.
Do you think that's going to happen realistically?
No, it's not going to happen. But like,
you dangle. If that situation arises and someone dangles 100k in front of the club in January, they'll take it, guaranteed. I'd put my house on it, but that won't happen. I think he'll go on the summer and he'll get around 250 for him or something, or 200.
I'd say that's done deal. Didn't he put up on Instagram the white heart with him in a sit? Like, come on, that's over, lads. I'm
not up to speed on like Gen Z emoji meanings now, Dan, so you'll have to translate us. Like, what's the white heart? What's that mean? Like,
well, it was just
goodbye, farewell,
I presume it was a bit of a goodbye. Like, yeah, it was him playing. He never really put stuff on his story, I don't think, and he just put a white heart above him playing in a city top. So, yeah, I'd say that's the end of that. That was about a week.
Maybe he's just a big fan of the white jersey.
Shells, lads, shells.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Imagine he was. Oh, God.
Ian Draper's, the budget for the season is based on 4K attendance. How much of an adjustment will be needed in the next window? Surely, Decky, that figure is already sorted.
We have a multi-millionaire owner. Why are we worried about budgets? Like, no. And I understand before they all start shouting at the transponders that they're listening to this podcast through, they're like, yes, I understand. There's budgets. You want to be paying the bills. You don't want to be crippling yourself with debt and all that kind of stuff. I understand all that. There's a huge injection of cash needed to sort out this football club. On the playing side, off the field, staff. There's just a huge injection of cash needed. Massive injection of cash. Talking about training grounds. Are we going to do a training ground without a massive injection of cash? I presume we're going to try and get the county council to pay for it, or we're going to try and do some fandangle deal somewhere along the line, which means we get the benefit of something without paying for it or without having to pay much for it. But like, it's just not going to happen. There's going to have to be a massive injection of cash. Is that something Dermot Usher is willing to do? I genuinely don't know. I hope so. Like,
we need a footballing CEO as well, Dick, to be honest. Someone like I described earlier. Like not a director of football, no, but like a CEO that manages the commercial aspects and the footballing aspects and has that, mentality to balance both and not apply the tone deafness that we appear to do in the off the field goings on when we're doing so poorly on the pitch and that kind of thing. Like, that's just one of the very basics. But like, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a CEO come into the club sooner rather than later, because the penny has to drop soon. Like,
I get slaughtered now again for this, right? Because he hates Dermot Usher. I don't. I hate how this football club is run. I hate how it's structured, right? I don't hate anybody at a personal level. Never have, never will. Don't put the energy into hating people, right? I was asked the other day, you have an agenda. Yes, I have an agenda. Of course I have an agenda. I have the same agenda that every Cork City fan has, I presume. Because I want to see I want to say a top-class squad, but I want to see a squad on the pitch and a team on the pitch capable of taking us to Europe, taking us to league titles. I don't want to see one that's 10 points off safety. And if that's me having an agenda, that's fair enough. But I'll tell you what I'm going to get sorted for. It feels like we've an owner and an ownership group who are playing real life football manager or championship manager or whatever it's called. I think Scotty to be playing that he's brilliant at, but
it's not a claim, to be fair.
You're not going to put Scotty in charge of Cork City, and allow him to play. But it does feel like there's a huge element of we just have people playing real life football manager, and it's the fans are suffering as a result of the diabolical decisions that have been taken.
There's a lot of naivety with it, isn't there? Like, I think what you're saying there kind of resonates. Like, even comments there in the past about we're going to announce training facilities soon, but like that's incredibly challenging and not going to be solved overnight, and that's going to take years to get sorted. But and again, like, we haven't heard anything much then about that in a number of months, and like the idea that the owners can effectively run the club themselves day to day, like without the experience needed and consultation from Football League of Ireland experienced people, like, it's just, look at, as we said, I'll say it, there's a lot of naivety to it, but and it appears that the learning curve has just not been on that steep incline. It's just been, what's the word I'm looking for?
Can I say this? I've no doubt Dermot Usher's heart is in the right place. Absolutely none whatsoever.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Yeah,
it's just the execution has been absolutely terrible. That's all it is, as I said.
Well, at least we can be positive now and look ahead to Shells at home this week. So, look, Shells is
Damien Duff's coming to town.
Their last three, lost to Bows 1-0. They drew at Drogs at home, and then they beat Sligo 3-2 at home as well. So, Decky, what do you think we take on this one?
We better give the Shells media team a countdown to where they can start clipping from, will we? Or what way will we do it? So you're listening, Darren, lads, how are things? Look, okay, 3, 2, 1. I think Duff has got inside his head a little bit, his own head a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, last year they were this really, really difficult side to play against. They didn't have much of the ball. They defended brilliantly, and they caught teams on the counter, and they beat teams 1-0, and kind of the night they won the league in Derry was probably the epitome of that type of performance and type of football. And I think this year he probably listened to the criticism last year, and like, they went from, I think they had the least possession last year, or second least possession after Drogheda, to having the most possession this year. And they brought in players like McInroy, and McInroy's a fine player, and he keeps the ball moving, and he keeps things ticking over. But they've kind of lost their identity of what they were last year. And I think that's on Duff, to be honest with you. I think, as I said, did he get inside his own head? Do you know what I mean? Like, he kind of listened to some of the stuff that was being said and said, okay, I'll show you that we can play the beautiful game and we can play this expansive football. And they can't really, do you know? And they're suffering for it this year. And look, let's call a spade at the moment is one of the poorest league defences you'll see, anywhere. And like, in theory, we should be going, yeah, they haven't been great away from home. They come down to Turner's Cross Friday night. We should be able to beat them. We should be right in their face, especially with their away form. And then on the other side, you kind of go, but for fuck's sake, look, it'll be 1-1 and we lose in the 89th minute from a corner or something, like, It's just, and it's very hard now to get away from that narrative, like, and I think, as Deck has said earlier on, Shelbourne will look at it and go, okay, we drew with Drogheda, we beat Sligo, we've a great opportunity now to go and win a game away from home. And they'll just be, look, let's be practical. We'll get our chances. We know they'll give us chances, get runners in the box, overcrowd that box, and especially if we're still level 8, do it late, and we'll get our chances and we'll win the game. And it's kind of heartbreaking because it's Shells, and it's like, this should be blood, guts, thunder. We should be here tonight calling Shells out. We should be calling Duff, and like, we should be doing 20 minutes in the worst league defence we've ever seen. And we can't, because we're 10 points from fucking safety. And it takes away all the stuff that this podcast should be able to do, and all the mocking we should be able to give Shelbourne, and all the things we should be able to say. And we can't say any of them because of where we are and what we are, and it's still the old time rivalry, it's still the game I look forward to most. But it's hard to look forward to Friday night. That's just been perfectly honest. Like, as I said, I think Duff has got inside his own head. I think he's kind of, I don't want to say he's done him a disservice, because I love Eamonn Duff. I think he's brilliant. He's brilliant for the league. I'm lucky enough to have spoken to him twice, and he's a nice guy, and he doesn't suffer fools, and you can see how intense he is, and you can see how he wants to do well. And I think next season, they'll go back to what they were the year they won the league. I think this season, he's just let it get, and that's probably inexperience on his behalf. He just let it get away from him a little bit. But I've no doubt he'll learn from it, and Shells will be better next year. It's probably too late this year for him to change it around with the type of player he has at the club. Obviously, the Paddy Barrett injury is a big one for them. But do you know what? We've said it about our own side, so I'm going to say it about Shelbourne. You don't win with teams, you win with squads. And you don't build teams, you build squads. And Paddy Barrett got injured at the start of the season. He's still out. And they've leaked way more goals than they normally do. They gave up 2 to Sligo last week. One a header from a corner, which should be defended, and the other is just an old Owen Elding, absolute, like, brilliant goal from the young fella. And that's why I'm saying I hope Sligo lose him in the summer. But look, it's very hard to see us. You want to believe we can get something. You want to believe that we can not be stupid. You want to believe there's a new manager bounce, but there wasn't a new manager bounce last week, so why should it be delayed and come this week? And if it is delayed and it comes this week, then there's 2 weeks off, and you kind of lose it again in the break. So kind of everything's against us. I don't know. It's just very difficult. I just hope we go out and we perform for the fans, because the fan base deserves a performance. It deserves a reminder, maybe more so than anything else. And maybe if that's the one thing Jordan Ash can get out of this team this week, is that they go out and they remind people that they're not as shit as Scotty says they are, that they're not as weak-hearted or as mentally weak as Declan says they are, and that they go out and they show something and they give something positive for the fan base to cling on to, because we're going into a 2-week break. And like, if we go into that break in the back of 5 losses on the trot, losing at home to Shelbourne, who are the mortal enemies of old, it kills everything. Like, it absolutely kills everything. So hopefully we can do something we haven't done all season, and that's.
And I think I know we got a question in the mailbag there about the crowds and 4,000. I actually think this is our last chance to capture the imagination of the great Cork sporting public, because, as you said there, Dick, if we lose this and it's 5 on the bounce, and, you know, I think there will be a nice crowd there Friday. Hopefully the weather picks up a little bit again and Duff coming down, and I think we'll get maybe close to 3,000, might push it a little bit. There's no GA on this weekend and stuff, so, you know, it might play well in our favour, but like, I think this is our last hope. As I said, if we don't turn out a good performance, and I think we have to win. I don't think a draw is good enough, especially at home now, and Shells are not exactly world beaters, as you described. And look, Maguire should be starting now Friday, shouldn't he? Like, he came on there against Derry, came on against Pats, came on against Galway. Like, when's he going to start the game? Like, unless he was nowhere near fitness, like in that game against Derry.
I wouldn't start him, Deck. I wouldn't risk him. No, I'd give
he's
him
made 3 sub appearances, like, and training and everything.
I know.
Like, how is he not ready? Like,
I'd give him the 2 weeks now as well, and then I would look at starting him in the Bohs game, first game back after the break. I think he was back early, so I don't think he had any effect in the game last Friday night. I don't think that's down to him or anything else. I just didn't think he looked like it's Scotty's thing about there's fitness and there's match fitness and match sharpness, like, and Shawnee definitely didn't have match sharpness. He didn't have
throwing him in 45 minutes against those farmers up in Galway. Like, that's why the biggest risk. Mad. Like,
as I said,
if he's not fit, ready to play and start on Friday, there's no way he should have come on at half time away to Galway. Like, against those guys, we saw what they did to Cahill the first game of the season. They're well within their capabilities of doing similar to Shawnee. Like,
saw what they did to Cahill Friday night. Could they kick Cahill out of that game Friday night? Kicked him out of that game.
Thank God he's probably still okay to play Friday now this time, and he won't miss 2 months or whatever. But like, yeah, if Shawnee can't start Friday, I can't understand the logic of any of the decisions to bring him on in the last few games, to be honest.
I understand.
Yeah. I know what you're saying too, but maybe I'm being naive and I'm putting too much faith in it. Like, but like, Jesus.
Sure, Clancy's last game, I know it's only speculation on my behalf, but like, he wasn't meant to play any minutes in that game at all. But he was only there for a marketing gimmick, like. And then injuries on the pitch forced Tim's hand in as well, like, so. I don't know. I don't think he's fit, in my opinion. But that's just me. Wayne, we haven't heard from you on this one yet.
What would you like to hear, Dan?
I don't know. A bit of crowd expectation, and then what way.
Yeah, you were shaking your head there when I was talking about the, you know.
Yeah, I think we get 2,500 City fans, and whatever Shells bring. That's my view on it. What else do you want to know? Anything else?
Do they have a decent away following now that, you know, their title hopes are dashed and they're nowhere near it, and they probably won't even qualify for Europe?
Probably bring down around 200, imagine. Would they bring 200 down?
200, yeah, I'd say so.
So I reckon
they won't bring 500 anyway. They would if they were top of the league. And
you might hear 3,000 in the Tannoy because of season tickets and stuff. And
oh yeah, but there'll be 2,400 in the ground, usual.
I think Shelbourne are going to win. I think that they'll beat us handy, and I think, and again, this is what I think, and I'm hoping for, obviously. But I do think that this game, if we beat Shells, it won't change our season. But if we lose to Shells, I think we're done. Because Waterford could just as easily win their game. Galway probably won't. And we could be 11 points behind. And
Sligo are home to Pats then on Saturday night, is it? So could they scrape a draw there? Maybe.
With the 2-week break, I think we really need to win. I just can't see it.
Like, we have to, as a club, be assuming that Waterford or Sligo will be picking up points in every game. Yeah. Like, they could easily scrape draws and stuff like that, like as bad as Sligo are. Like, they were unlucky to not get a draw against Shells, to be honest. And that's what's given me hope that we might get something against Shells, because I do think we're slightly better than Sligo. And Shells wobbled a bit against them at home. But
I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I'm negative. I know I'm just drained from the whole thing. I'm just completely drained from this whole situation.
At least with Sligo, to be fair to them, they seem to have like togetherness on and off the pitch that we just don't have.
Well, no, I think the players have together. I think they do. I just think that we have the capacity of always pressing the self-destruct button or sleepwalking. I can't really put it in there. That's why I feel. That's why I think, and I think It's literally 2023 Mark II. We learned absolutely nothing. And I thought we did. I really thought we did. I said at the start of the season, we've learned. And even when we got Nash in 2 weeks ago, I said, we've acted quickly. And the first half, I was like, yeah, a little bit more cautious, better passing accuracy. But when it came down to it and the shit hit the fan, same again. Should have been better. Can't see it happening.
You know,
Do you think he drops Anderson and goes with Kiernan starting, and I guess Maguire is the only other one then I think that might come in for Shipston versus the side that started against
You've got to put
Galway.
Maguire out wide if he starts. You can't go 4-4-4-2 against Shells. They'll just batter us in the middle then. Even though big fan of 4-4-2, get the ball in the box, but we can't seem to get the ball in the box either. So
Yeah, we don't create a lot of chances, do we? We score goals though, to be fair. We have goals in us, but we don't create an awful lot of chances.
3 shots all game. Galway and 1 on target, wasn't it? That was the penalty. Is that right? 9? No, sorry. We had 9 shots and 1 on target.
Yeah. Well, Cahill's one was off target and it was harder to miss it. I know. That was the biggest chance of the game and it was off target. I never really look at those shots on target, off target, or whatever, because it would crack the crossbar and it doesn't count as on target. But anyway.
We need to shake this pot up next week or whenever, because this we can't be doing this every week. I know you can only talk about what's put in front of you, but we need to do something. I don't know.
But it was the same last year. Just
get some Brazilian samba dances on or something, lads. We can't do this for the rest of the week. We cannot do this for the rest. This is the once off now. Depressive pod, right?
Oh, I tell you.
Figure this. You know,
the worst
if we do the Brazilian samba dancing, can we get a double D?
De Janeiro himself.
Yeah, double D's and samba dancing. I'm thinking the De Janeiro Daniels.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Who here knows what a double D and samba dancing is? Like, honestly, what part do you think? Oh yeah, Wayne will know what that is.
You're a man of the continent.
If you were ever 17 and you still don't know what double D is, then I don't know how to help you.
Are you talking about this area?
Yes, Ian.
Okay,
yes,
well,
you can use the word breast. You know, it's not that. It's not.
I thought you were talking about some.
Are you talking about this area? And he kind of waving his caressing 2 hands as if he's gently caressing.
What is this? What is this? What even is this?
All right, lads, can you give us any bit of positivity? Wayne, you were the man there for the positivity. Go on. Even though
I think savage, the burger is savage.
The Clonmel burger.
It's savage. It's huge. It's big. I was stuffed after. The problem is, my belly was in bits after eating it. And I had no dinner, and it was that big. It was literally, I'd say it's a half-pound burger and a half-pound of pudding.
Half
cheese. I'd say it's a half-pound, like, easily, because quarter-pounders aren't that big. It's definitely a half-pound burger, I would say.
The photograph I saw on Twitter, it must have been someone got it for a child, because it had nothing on it except the burger and the black pudding, and it looked shocking.
I actually had to put it back in its box and put it on the ground and breathe for about 20 seconds. It was that heavy. I love my burgers. It was good.
All the toppings, all the dressings, the whole cheap.
Yeah, the whole lot. For a tenner, it was good. To be honest, it's good, but you shouldn't have to pay that in Turner's Cross. I get it. I still think if you go to the match and you haven't eaten and you're starving, you have this, you will be full after it. You don't need chips or nothing after it.
Come here, the lads with the potatoes still hanging around there.
Yeah, I think so. I refuse to go there till I learn how to spell the word potato.
We have to find. How will we find out? How will we know?
What are they called again?
Spuds Buds.
Spuds.
It's Spuds Buddies, isn't it?
Best
really,
buddies.
Best buddies.
Isn't your man Richie's Food and Nature opening up a Spuds thing or something? Another food truck? Or did I dream that as well? Anyway.
Said, yeah, Richie. Oh yeah, Deck, no bother. I'll do that for you. All right, boy. There's no bother. I'll be out there, yeah.
Yeah, how much?
Yeah. No, I know Richie's sound. Richie's sound.
Ask him again.
He's too busy up in the dial now with Ken Flynn and
I know, yeah.
Match prediction. Match predictions, Decky.
Match predictions. Oh, look. I sure break your heart now to say Shelbourne could win anything. None of mine win in Turner's Cross.
No.
Yeah, we'll beat them 3-1. Fuck it.
Go on. Kerry.
2-1 Shells.
Wayne.
I'm not saying Shells are going to no 2-2. I can't do it. I can't do it.
You just said 5. You just said 5 minutes ago. Shells and Harbour.
I know. I just can't say it. I can't put.
Can't say it out loud. Okay.
All right, 2-1 Shells. They'll get one 80th minute sometime.
I just hope, right? I just hope they score the 2 goals in the first 10 minutes and get at least then we're kind of just spending the next 80 minutes just going, yeah, look, we're shit. I hope we're not like 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go or 1-1 and we lose it. I don't want that. Please, God, no. Just give them the goals in the first 10 minutes and get it done with.
What's that score line that Jerry Desmond's been waiting all his life for? Is
6-2. 6-2.
Yeah. 6-2 Shells. No. I hope Jerry's dreams come true on Friday anyway, but yeah, I'm still sticking with 2-1 Shells. 6-2 will come some other time in the season.
All right. Wayne, was that actually the first time you were getting down about us? Like, this is how fair.
Yeah, honest God, it ruined my weekend and Friday. I have no hope anymore. And I know, look, everyone says I'm actually not always negative. I'm just cutting. Probably, I could probably say, I could be really happy, but say in an angry voice. That's the way I kind of am. But I've lost all hope of this season. I think we're going down. I think we won't be in FIFA 26, whatever it's called. I don't think we're going to be in Football Manager in the fucking Premier Division. And that's kind of ruined my buzz a bit. So we're going down. End of story.
All right.
But even Pat Dolan could save us now, lads.
On that light note, it's time to say adios, amigos, unless anyone wants to add something else before we
Are we covering the B team? Or like since Paul Deacy's gone, we don't seem to cover them anymore.
We'll do Kerry. When City keep losing, we'll jump on the Kerry bandwagon.
They won the Munster Senior Cup. They beat Rockmount in the final.
Cool, Kerry won something.
The B team.
That has been a pleasure. Thanks for cheering me up anyway.
Can I just say I disagree with Wayne, Dan, before we go? I don't think we'll go down. I think we'll win the playoff.
Levels.
I think Elding will leave Sligo in the summer. That'll kill them. We'll finish above them, and then we'll beat Treaty or Cove or Wexford or somebody in the playoff. Handy enough.
We can't get Queenstown in the playoff.
And the whole concept of the playoff
It'll be Bray, lads. We can all stay up and Bray for the weekend. We're going to Lash.
I don't think the whole concept of that playoff game, it'll just wind me up so much. The way that the Premier Division club, which probably be us, builds it up like this a glamour cup final that we've qualified for through merit. We've gotten there because we're shit, and it's not the same as the playoff game in the championship. Like, they're trying to liken this to like Sunderland. They're getting promoted in the big playoff game or 200. No, like, we're the Premier Division team dropping down to play a First Division team and hope to God we can manage to stay up, and the club will be selling tickets and it's up in Tala and big glamour game. Like, the FAI and the League of Ireland seriously need to look at that playoff format. Oh God, it just winds me up so much.
Well, I would hope that it would be in the RSC against Treaty. You know, they wouldn't take us all the way to Dublin for that.
Anyway,
I talk a lot about levels. I talk a lot about levels.
If it was Cove, they'd probably want it in the cross.
I'm going to kill you.
That's 4 or 5 months away. All right, it's time to say
I think we're too strong for any of this.
Dan, you're dead right, Dan. You're dead right. We have 6 months now to prepare for it. 6 months to prepare for it. Sure, what could go wrong? We'll get all our ducks in a row.
Adios. Bye. Adios.